Actually, Parashat Re'eh, just the parashat that we're in this week.
Yes, this is Parashat Re'eh. So listen carefully, right? In Parashat Re'eh, we're actually going to find a hint towards the concept of the Mashiach. Okay, we're going to see it, right, this concept. But beforehand, there is a Gemara. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin was mashma over there that the Mashiach could come from somebody that already passed away. Now, the question is, if you're already going to tell me that he passed away, so fine. So then who is it? Because why are you going to say it's somebody that passed away right now? Maybe it's somebody passed away 200 years ago.
Yeah.
It could be the Arizal HaKadosh. It could be the Shulchan Aruch HaGraz, Rabbi Zalman, the first Rebbe. It could be the Baal Shem Tov. It could be the Chavetz Chaim. It could be the Chatam Sofer, the Gaon Mivilna. I'm saying, if you're going to, so now you're going to tell me, no, but it has to be this generation. Well, it already passed 30 years. You understand? We're not talking about anymore that somebody that was just right now and then passed away and then he could still come back, right? Because if not, so why is it only 30 years ago? Maybe it's 100 years ago. Maybe it's 200 years ago. And maybe it's 500 years ago, right? Somebody asked, why can't it be Moshe Rabbeinu? So, okay, there's the whole concept that Moshe Rabbeinu will bring the Mashiach with Eliyahu Nabi. And then here we're going to actually bring down another Shitot also as well. There's Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. We're going to go to understand a little bit about it. But let's just start, okay? The Gemara says like this. There's a Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, where the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin says, Amar Rabbi Alexandri, says Rabbi Alexandri, right? There's a Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi comes and he asks a contradiction in the Pesukim. It says, Ani Hashem bi'ita achishena, which this is actually Haftarah in Kitavo. So the Haftarah of Kitavo, the last words is this Pasuk, Ani Hashem, I am Hashem, be'ita, in the proper time, achishena, I'm going to bring it quickly. So the question is, what does that mean in the proper time and quickly? So it says, Ketiv be'ita v'ketiv be'achishena. So how do you explain that? Answers the Gemara, Zachu, if we merit, achishena. Lo zachu, be'ita. If we're going to merit, it's going to be achishena. If we're not going to merit, so then it's going to be be'ita. That's what the Gemara says. Yeah? Okay, fine. No problem. Now what happens is, right, is it says as follows. Yeah, Amar Rabbi Alexandri, Rabbi Yoshua Levi also brought up two different psukim, that how is he going to come? Is he going to come from like the Anamim, or is it going to come like Adani Rochev al Chamor, like a poor person coming on a donkey? So the Gemara says, if we're going to be Zocheh, it's going to come on an Shemaya. What does that mean? Rashi says it's going to come B'mihirut quickly, and it's mashma is coming like from the Shamayim. It opens a room, like something. But if it doesn't, if we're not going to be Zocheh, Ani Rochev al Chamor. It's going to come like a poor person coming on the Chamor. Here it says Ba'atzlut.
So hold on, if we are Zocher, how is it going to come?
It's going to come like from the Shamayim. Like it's going to come quickly from the Shamayim. If we're not going to be Zocher, it's going to be like a poor person riding on a donkey. Now again, there's the whole question, like what does that mean exactly?
That's what the Goyim say.
Okay, very good. Well, that's a Gemara. That's a Gemara. A donkey, or a poor person riding on a donkey. But remember, that poor person riding on a donkey is if we're not Zocher. Meaning we didn't have a merit, right? We did not have a merit whatsoever. So if we don't have a merit, so then that's what's going to happen.
So that will be your 6,000.
No, it's the maximum 6,000. That will be in the proper time, which we don't know the proper time.
Even though we're not Zocher, it can come before.
Well, no, because again, it has to come. We said there's a maximum. Correct. The maximum is the year 6,000. That's the maximum.
No, but if you're Zocher, it can come early. If you're not Zocher, it will come at the 6,000 or no?
No, not at the 6,000, in the proper time. When is the proper time? We don't know.
Oh,
the proper time could be 5784. That could be the proper time. We just don't know. The maximum that the proper time could be is 6,000.
Okay.
Okay, that's a maximum, but we don't know the proper time. The proper time could be now. We don't know. Now, if we're Zocheh, it could come even before the proper time. And it could come quickly. And it could come amash flying. Okay? So that's the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin. Listen to the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. Or HaChaim HaKadosh comes in this week's parasha. When you're going to have a poor person, right? From one of your brothers in one of the gates in your land, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give you. Don't close your heart and don't close your hand from your brother that's destitute, that's poor. Open up your hand to him. Right? Give him everything which he's lacking. You have to give him. Okay.
So listen to what he says here. It says, בדרך רמז, says אור החיים הקדוש, ירמוז להעיר הערה גדולה לאחד המיוחד שבאומה. Did you realize it says when you're going to have a poor person, כי יהיה בך אביון, מאחד אחיך, from one of your brothers. Why does it say one of your brothers? He says this one is somebody which is high, which is special. Echad u'miuchad in the nation. That's the person that we're waiting for him to come, which is Melech Yisrael Meshichenu, which is Melech HaMashiach, which he's an avion, he's a poor person. And that's why the Gemara said that he's compared to a poor person, which is riding on the donkey. And the hint is because it says, Shisovenu liot avion v'amar, ki becha avion. We are the cause that he's poor. Because of our sins, that's why he became poor. Right? Because he wants to come and he wants to actually redeem us, just like it says in the story with Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he went and he saw Melech HaMashiach. He asked him about Yisrael Ba'olam, and he said, we're waiting for him. So then he came and he started crying. Why? He wants to redeem us. And that's why it says, Me'achad achecha. What is Me'achad achecha? One of the people that are special in your brothers. Just like it says, Kimat shachav echad ha'am. Right? To do with Avimelech coming and he tells Avraham Avinu, by the way, somebody almost slept with your wife. But he says, Kimat almost, shachav slept, achad ha'am, one of the people in the nation. Who's the one? He himself, because he's a king. He's a hierarchy. So therefore, he's like the one in the nation. So he says the same thing. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, when it says, who's this poor person? It's Melech HaMashiach, that he's the Miuchad Sheba'am. He's the designated one in the nation. So he says, Be'achad Sharecha. He says he's also Miuchad of the Sanhedrin. Remember, the Sanhedrin were always on Sharei Ha'ir. They were always at the entrance of the city, the gates of the city. They are the ones that are judging. So the Melech HaMashiach, he's going to be the head judge. Why? All he has to do is smell. And that's how he's going to come. And that's what we say in the Haftarah V'od Hayom. On the Shemini Shel Pesach, we come and we say that the Melech HaMashiach will not judge for what he sees, but he'll judge for what he smells. He'll be able to smell Yirat Shamayim. He'll be able to come and to smell. There was once a big rabbi that they came and they ran and said, Rabbi, the Mashiach came. He said, what? He ran to the window. He opened up the window and he started smelling around. He says, no, it didn't come. He says, how do you know? He says, when the Mashiach comes, you'll be able to smell Yirat Shamayim. You'll be able to come and you'll be able to feel it in the air. You'll be able to, it's a different world. The world that we'll live in will never be the same as the world before the Melech HaMashiach. So he says, Be'artzecha, listen to this. Very important, Mauricio, pay attention to these words. Be'artzecha le'a'ir, to tell you. Ki horato veleidato be'eretz Yisrael HaKedosha. This is the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. He's learning it from a Gemara. The Gemara says as follows. The Gemara says in Masechet Yevamot of Tzadik Zayin Amud Bet, horato veleidato b'kedusha, that he's conceiving. And when he gives birth, it's going to be done with holiness. Rabbeinu Or HaChaim HaKadosh is understanding that horato veleidato b'kedusha means be'eretz HaKedosha, in the land of Israel. Meaning the Melech HaMashiach has to be conceived and born in the land of Eretz Yisrael. Okay? This is the Or HaChaim HaKadosh.
Already takes half of the people out.
So the way that the Or HaChaim HaKadosh is learning the Gemara Yevamot 97b is that he has to be that he's conceived and born in Eretz Yisrael HaKedosha. It can't be from anybody else that's outside. Or Yirtzeh al Zaderech. Another thing he says, Be'achad Sharecha, what does that mean? He comes and he brings down a Zohar HaKadosh to do with the entire concept that we're not going to get into. And then he says like this, V'itzav Hashem lechol ish Yisrael. So comes HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he commands every single Jew, Shelo ye'ametz levavo, do not close your hands, but rather strengthen ourselves to do everything that we can because of our actions. Ki be'emtzau ma'aseh bnei adam, and especially in the mitzvah of tzedakah, because it says, B'tzedakah tikonani. That means because of the tzedakah, we will bring the Mashiach. Right? As we say, everything is because of the mitzvah of the tzedakah. And therefore he comes and he says, right? He says, שיעריך אדם את דתו שמעשהו תכלית דבר זה של משיח השם שמו חיים. He comes and he says, the name of the Mashiach is Chaim. Okay, so the name of the Mashiach is Chaim. Now we're going to see later on towards the end of the shiur that there's going to be other names as well. Meaning it's not only just Chaim. There's going to be other names as well. Now the question is, what other names? Right? Rav Chaim Kanievsky. It could be. Right? His name is Chaim. That's what the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh is also his name is Chaim. Rav Chaim ben Atar. You understand? Yeah. Fine. But now we go back to the Pasuk and we understand the Pasuk in this week's parasha. In this week's parasha, when it says, when you're going to have a poor person, and it's because of you means because of every single Jew, because of us. And he's going to be poor because of us. And who is that poor person? The Melech HaMashiach, that he's the one and only. He's the one. He's the one that's going to be in charge of the Sanhedrin. He's the one in charge of, he's the main one of the Sanhedrin. Sharecha. He has to be conceived and born in the land of Israel. That he gives you. Don't close your heart and don't close your hand from your brother. Why? Open up your hands and give tzedakah, but when you're going to give tzedakah, that's going to help for the Melech HaMashiach. That's the explanation of the Pasuk according to the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, the remez of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh in this week's parasha. Until here, we're clear.
Yeah.
The next place also where it's hinted to do with Melech HaMashiach is the Berachav Yaakov Avinu to his son Yehuda. Look at this. This is a pasuk in Bereshit. We're talking about Perek Memtet 49:11. The pasuk says, he says he's going to tie his iro. Iro is an ayid, which is a male donkey, okay, a male ass, to a vine, to a vineyard. The female one, he's going to do it to a choice vine, to a very good vineyard. Then he washes his garments in wine, kibes bayayin levusho, uvdam anavim suto, and he's going to have the blood of the grapes, which is basically when you crush the grapes, that looks like blood, right? And he's going to wash his clothing, his robe. Okay, that's the pasuk in English. So look at the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. There's a lot of explanations, and maybe the kavanah is on the coming of the Melech HaMashiach. Why? Because it says what does that mean? Everybody is looking forward to the Mashiach, and they're going to say they're going to grab him in front of the Geffen, which is Israel, which means Bnei Israel were compared to the vineyard, to grapes, right? All the nations which are there compared to donkeys, right? Because it says in the pasuk that their flesh is like the flesh of donkeys, and it says ima chamor, which means that the nation which is compared to the chamorim, vela soreka is in front of a branch of a geffen, which is called sorek, meaning the soreka is a good branch of grapes. Is also going to come the beniatono, which is the female. So he says, what's the difference between the male and the female? Why? He says, because we know that there's a klipa in the umot haolam. One of them is a male and one of them is a female. Which one's stronger? So he says the female is stronger. The male is called an aid, and the nekeva is called an aton, the female. That's what Bilam had, an aton, the female donkey. The amar keneged the geffen, and he said opposite. The geffen is Bnei Israel. Osri iro, right? What does that mean? So he comes and he says like this. Really, Be'emet, the pasuk is talking about two different redemptions. Number one is Mitzrayim, and the second one is Geula Atidah, the future one, Bezrat Hashem. And Keneged the Geula Rishonah, for the first one, it's written Osri la Geffen. Why? Because Geffen means Tzia. We were taken out from the Geffen. She'az kafat Hashem lifnei mechina achan nikret aid. Because then HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and he took us out, like the male donkey. What does that mean? It's written, what does that mean? It says, why? It's during Yitziat Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu only humbled the head of the nations. Who was that? Mitzrayim and Canaan. Canaan was made up of 7 nations, and Mitzrayim. He says, but the 70 nations, nobody was humbled in front of them. Le'atid lavo, in the future, Be'ezrat Hashem, Lo yaniach me'aumot uma gedola uktana. There will not be any nation, not big or not small, that will not be given to them. And that's what it means, Beniatono. That means that in the next Bezrat Hashem, hopefully speedily in our days, this coming Geula will be something completely different than Mitzrayim. And that's why we say Mitzrayim will look like child's play. Because what happened in Mitzrayim is nothing that was going to be compared to what's going to happen Bezrat Hashem in the final Geula. That all the nations of the world will be humbled. Not only just Mitzrayim and Canaan. All the nations, everybody. So he says, and now he wants to say something like this. Listen to this. To do with the tum'ah, the nekeva is stronger than the male. Right? To do with the nekeva, the female is stronger than the male, and to do with tum'ah. The zachar is taking the extra, and that's why he's called Yoteret HaKaved. And that I saw in a dream. Listen to this. I saw in a dream that I came and I started fighting with the male. And I was able to humble him. And I threw him down with my strength. And with the female, I tried with all my strength a few times. And you don't know how many times I tried to throw her, and I was able to throw her down, but not like the male. I wasn't able to get her down like the male. So he says, and that's what it means, that in the future, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will even take down the female. And that's what it means, even that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come and he'll take down. But this is something incredible that he's saying that I saw this in a dream. And this all has to do with the klipot and everything of what's going down. Okay? Fine. So that's the second place in the Torah, right? It's not an order, but that's another place where we also see the concept of the Mashiach. Third place. This is the concept of Bil'am. You remember Bilam in Parashat Balak, he came and he started blessing Israel instead of cursing them. And it says, it says the Orachaim HaKadosh. What does that mean? He says like this, I'm going to see it, but not now. But it's not going to be close. He said they're going to come a star from Yaakov. They're going to get up a shevet from Israel, and he's going to kill out Moab. So he says like this. Why does he double the Lashon every single time? He says, right, Erenu, you're going to see it, not now. You're going to see it, but it's not going to be close. What's going on? So he says like this. The entire Nevuah is with Melech HaMashiach. We already brought down Achishenu and Beita. Remember, if it comes quickly or it comes in the proper time. Right? What does that mean, the proper time? It's very far away from us. Right? That's what he says here. It's very far away. We don't even know. So he says, we are at the beginning of the 6,000s, right? And Keneged Shne Kitzim Elu, and that's why it says, if we are Zoche Erenu, we're going to see it, right? But it's not Ata, right? What does that mean? It's not in this Zman, but Zman Acher. And it could be that it's not even that far away. That means if we actually come and we do Teshuvah like we need, we would be immediately redeemed, even not one day in Galut. That's what he says. Imagine right now we do Teshuvah the way they were supposed to, immediately we'll be redeemed. And that's the Pshat Yancha Hashem.
That would never happen, Rabbi.
Biyom Tzara. What?
That will never happen.
Why not?
For us to do Teshuvah, you have all types of Jews. You have Reform. You have this and that. You have people that have Jews.
There's a whole question. What does it mean that everyone has to do Teshuvah? Does it have to be even the Reform? Does it have to be even the... There's a whole question about that. That's not a whole... You understand? But the concept that Bnei Yisrael, we're doing Teshuvah. That we're all doing Teshuvah. Okay? Keneged Ketz Beita, it says Ashurenu. Why? Velo Karov. It's not close. And therefore, Beita is very far away. So now he comes and he says like this. He comes and he says, Im tia geula b'emtzaut zechut Yisrael, if the geula will be because of our zechuyot, it will be something incredible. And there will be miracles coming from the heavens, as is brought down in the Sefer Zohar HaKadosh. But if it's going to be because of the ketz, and therefore we're not fitting for it, it's going to be something completely different. Zechut Yisrael, he says, then it's going to be beita. It's not going to come. It's going to come in a natural way. And that's why he says Geulat Achishena is like a kochav from Yaakov. It's like a star from Yaakov. And Geulat Beita is like Anim Yisrael, which are only the tzaddikim. Why? Because the tzaddikim are always going to be tzaddikim. But we need the Beronim to do teshuvah. Meaning for the tzaddikim to come and to do teshuvah, all the time they're doing teshuvah. So it's not because of the tzaddikim. We need the regular Bnei Yisrael that we are going to come and we're going to do teshuvah. Now, he doesn't say Reshaim. Did you realize? It says Benonim. That's what it says over here. זה יהיה כשלא יטיב מעשיהם כת הבינוניים, ולא יבוא למפת כת הצדיקים שבהם. Then it's come שווה מישראל. Meaning, we need that the בינוניים are doing teshuvah. בינוניים, not the reshayim. The reshayim will never do teshuvah, like what you said. Right? We're talking about the middle class. We have to do teshuvah. And if we do teshuvah, that's what's going to come and going to bring the Mashiach. Now what he says, listen to this Gemara now. Gemara says, Vayareni Hashem arba'a charashim. I'm going to show you 4 different charashim. What are the charashim? We're talking about the ones which are going to come and build the Bet HaMikdash, or the ones that are... So he says, who are these 4? Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef, Eliyahu Navi, the Kohen Tzedek. Yeah? So let's see what it says.
In theory, Mashiach ben Yosef already came.
Very good. Let's see. Then it says, Tan Rabbanan. He comes and he says, Mashiach ben David, that he's going to come and he's going to be revealed and build the Bet HaMikdash b'yunav yamenu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, She'al mimeni ve'etena. She'al mimeni. Ask for me whatever you want, I'll give it to you. שנאמר, אספרה לחוק, אני היום ילדתיך, שאל ממני ותנה גויים נחלתך. וכיוון שראה משיח בן יוסף שלהם, once he saw that Mashiach ben Yosef was killed, he says in front of Ribono Shel Olam, I only want Chaim. I only want to live. What am I going to ask for you? I want to live. So he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Chaim ad shelo, right, אמר לו Chaim, ad shelo, אמרת כבר ינבא עליך דוד. David HaMelech already said that you were going to ask for that. But he says, Chaim שאל ממך נתת לו. You're going to ask for Chaim and you're going to give it to him. What does that mean? We see from here that Mashiach ben David, the second that he saw Mashiach ben Yosef was killed, so right, that he died, so now all of a sudden he comes and he says, no, all I want is I want to live. That's all that I want. Now says the Maharsha, the Begeulah Tzidah Mimina B'Tchilah Yevon Moshe ben Yosef. First will come Mashiach ben Yosef to save Israel, as it says in the Pasuk, Ubet Yosef le'ahava, Ubet Esav le'kash. The Bet Yosef are going to come and be the flame. And the Bet Yosef is going to be, and why? En Zarosh le'esav elakarim Mashiach ben Yosef. Mashiach ben Yosef is going to start. But he's going to be killed, and then there will be from Mashiach ben David. So there's going to be a sefer from Rabbi Yoel Sparka. Okay, Rabbi Yoel Sparka comes and he has a sefer of Geula, that he comes and he says that it's going to come, this entire concept is only going to be a Kabbalah to do with that there's a Masoret Shekibalnu right Mavotenu. And he comes and he wants to say like this. So he says, right? How did Rabbi Akiva and Ben Doro think that Kuziva is Mashiach? If Mashiach ben Yosef didn't come, so how did they think? And the Gemara actually says in Sanhedrin 94, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to make Chizkiyahu HaMelech the Mashiach. But Mashiach ben Yosef didn't come. So and also, what does that have to do with Eliyahu Navi? Because Eliyahu Navi has to come and say that he's the Mashiach. So what's going on? So listen to this. This is something incredible. Listen carefully. The Kreti Upleti. The Kreti Upleti is Rabbi Yonatan Eibeshitz. Okay? He says like this. Yadua ma shamnu Chazal. It's known that what Chazal say. That there's a Geula B'ita and a Geula V'achishena. And at the beginning has to come Mashiach ben Yosef. And Eliyahu Navi levaser ha'inu v'geula shel B'ita.
What's the difference between Geula Beita and Geula Achishena again?
Beita is in the proper time. Achishena means quickly, earlier. Okay? So he wants to come and he wants to say like this. According to the Kreti Upleti, the only time when you need Mashiach ben Yosef to come first, and you need Eliyahu Navi to come and to tell it first, is Beita. Only if it comes in the proper time. If we are going to be zoche to the Melech HaMashiach because of our actions, then it's going to come Achishena. It's going to change all the said that everything will change. We won't even need Mashiach ben Yosef. We won't even need anything else. It's just going to come. It's just going to come. And the Shut Chatam Sofer brings his words, and he says that which we said that there's a said that the first has to come is only B'ita, but Achishena, it doesn't need it. And that's why it says Shiavo Hayom B'Koli B'Lo Mashiach ben Yosef. He comes and he says, look how beautiful these words are. That really be'emet, If we are Zoche, we don't need a Mashiach ben Yosef to be killed. We don't even need Mashiach ben Yosef to come. Mashiach ben David will come immediately and redeem us.
So then
Now,
that what I heard that Mashiach ben Joseph already came. That's
one
not-
second. Shwai.
Sorry. And what do you mean by in proper time? When is the proper time?
We don't
we
know.
don't know.
Huh?
We don't know when the proper time is. We don't know. Beita just means in its proper time. Proper time could be tomorrow. Proper time could be in 10 years or 100 years. We don't know. It has to be like we explained before. It has to be before the year 6000. That it has to be. But there's another 217 years, whatever, 16 years.
Oy vey.
You understand? Until then. No, the reason why they say is because that it has to, we have to have the Mashiach and the Tchiyat HaMetim and all the process by the 7,000th year. Now, but we don't know. Remember, Tchiyat HaMetim could take 5 minutes, right? And especially that there's a Ritva and everything, that there's 2 Tchiyat HaMetims. There's one Tchiyat HaMetim before the Mashiach and one Tchiyat HaMetim after the Mashiach. The one that Tchiyat HaMetim before the Mashiach is so that way the tzaddikim will be able to see when Mashiach comes.
Oh wow!
And then there's going to be a Tchiyat HaMetim afterwards, after Mashiach already comes.
But hold on. But in the Gemara somewhere, I don't remember which Masechet says that.
So in the Sefer Vayol Moshe Admor Misatmer, he comes and he brings the words and he says, Bizman ben Koziva, it was very close to the Churban, 52 years. And therefore, for sure, it was not Beita. So therefore, well, how did they think then that he was the Mashiach? So obviously, it had to be that it was Achishena, because it wasn't the proper time. Meaning, it couldn't have been that right after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash already came the Mashiach. Right? It doesn't make sense. Between the first and second Bet HaMikdash, it was 70 years. The second one is going to be 52 years. It doesn't make sense. So obviously, it couldn't have been that the Mashiach then would have been in the proper time. It would have been Achishena. So therefore, they didn't need Eliyahu Navi to come. Or they didn't need Mashiach ben Yosef to come. And that's why they thought that Ben Kuziva was actually the Mashiach. Because they thought that that's it. Right? However, though, afterwards he comes and he brings a whole bunch of shitot that really be'emet, it could be that really be'emet, you do need, right, Eliyahu Navi still to come beforehand. Right? And therefore, obviously, you would have to answer it up in another way. Okay? Fine.
Sorry to Rabbi. I think it was Rabbi Akiva. I'm not sure who. He thought that Bar Kochba was.
But Bar Koziva. That's a Ben Koziva, Bar Kochba. There's a whole thing.
How can he be? He's not from the tribe of Yehuda. Bar Kochba was a Kohen, no?
Now, there's another interesting thing that he says, Orachaim HaKadosh here, Darach Ocham Yaakov is Mashiach ben David, right? V'kam Shevet MiYisrael is Mashiach ben Ephraim, Mashiach ben Yosef. Meaning, in the pasuk of Bil'am, he's already speaking about the two Mashiachs. Darach Kochav Yaakov is Mashiach ben David, because he's like the Kochav, because David HaMelech is hinted in the stars. But Kam Shevet MiYisrael, from a regular Yisrael, that's Mashiach ben Yosef. So he comes and he says, right, Mashiach ben Ephraim yamu b'milchama rishona she'argenu, that he's going to be killed by Romilos or Armilos, right? It's brought down in the Gemara Masechet Sukkah, Daf Nun Bet. But if Israel are going to be tzaddikim, then Israel yitkanu. What does that mean? That even that Oto Shevet, which is Ephraim, he's going to come and he won't actually be killed. Meaning we could stop Mashiach ben Yosef being killed. And it comes out that that's why Gdolei Israel came and they commanded us that we should have kavanah in our tefillot to pray for Mashiach ben Yosef. When we say Lishuatecha kivinu, levakesh rachamim Mashiach ben Ephraim, Mashiach ben Yosef is Mashiach ben Ephraim, shelo yeh ne'erag b'milchama, that he shouldn't die in the war. Okay? Which means that even though he's supposed to die, we could change that decree.
So there can be the two of them at the same time.
Well, whatever. I mean, that, yeah, and then it could be that he won't actually die. Yeah, 100%. So now here it says there's a pasuk in Parashat Pinchas where it says, but just pay attention to this again. There we have to pray that Mashiach ben Yosef should not die. Now it says, "Vayu bnei Yehuda l'mishvutam l'shela ve'echet shelani Peretz mishpachas Barzizah mishpachas Zerchi." This is in Pinchas. Vayu bnei Peretz. So it says these Gimelanim are the Biat Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, and when Hashem is going to become king over us. Why? And then he explains what is Perech or Peretz, what is Zerach, what is Shelah. Shelah is Midat Adin. That's Mashiach ben Yosef. Peretz is Mashiach ben David. Right? Paratza lecha Peretz. Zarach is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to come and he's going to shine over us. And then he comes and he starts talking about the numbers. right? About, how does it hint us? Fine. Parashat Metzorah is the same thing, that he's going to hint us also on Galut Israel. We're talking about Mashiach ben Ephraim, Mashiach ben David. They're doing Shechita, who they're doing the Shechita, that they're killing Mashiach ben Ephraim. And then he comes and he says, and that's why the Arizal HaKadosh came and he said that we have to actually pray that he shouldn't die. Okay, fine. So look at the Shara Kavanot. Shara Kavanot comes and he brings down, right, as follows. Tishkon, right? He comes and he says like this. He says, you should know that when you're going to say the Chised of Dechamen Avtucha Tachin, you have to have kavanah. That which Shemayav told my Morizal, that Yom Asher Lachnu Lagush Lechel Pura, he says that you have to pray every single Amidah on these words, that Hashem should come, you should pray on Mashiach ben Yosef, that he should live and that he shouldn't die.
Where, in what part of the Midah? In what part of the Midah? Tishkon ben Yerushalayim.
Yeah, in Tishkon. V'chised aviv decha menav v'tocha tachin. Right there. That's what he's supposed to say. The Orach Chaim HaKadosh said, Lishuatecha kivinu kol hayom. But he's saying in v'chised decha menav v'tocha tachin. So now here, look what it says, Rav Chaim Vital. Rav Chaim Vital comes and he says, V'kodem sheniftar mori zal, yom echad halachnu mori al Tzion Shemaya v'Avtalion. We prayed there. And then he went and he said that when we say Kised Aviv Amidah, we should pray that he shouldn't die. And he told us that we should have a lot of kavanah b'zeh. And then he comes and he says, "V'sofo hochiach al hazarato shemet mori zilha ba'avonotenu harabim v'atzumim." But at the end, he passed away. Who passed away? The Arizal HaKadosh. So Rav Chaim Vital is saying that the Arizal HaKadosh was Mashiach ben Yosef. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it says here. והרב נותן בענוותנותו לא פירש לחברים אדונים, כשנסתלק הרב בבית עולמו, ידעו למפרע שהוא היה משיח בן אפרים. They knew retroactively that he was Mashiach ben Yosef. So it comes out that according to the Arizal HaKadosh, he was Mashiach ben Yosef. Okay?
Who was the Dia ben Yosef? Ramchal.
No, the Arizal HaKadosh was Mashiach ben Yosef. Okay? This is, by the way, this Sefer of Shivchei Ari was actually, right, the Shivchei Ari, this is Rav Yaakov Hillel that wrote this. He was the one that, that authored this book. Rav Yaakov Moshe Hillel, the head of Avat Shalom. Okay? Fine. Mm-hmm. So now that we get to this, it actually comes out that now we know. So now, Ketzat Galut Achrona. So what are the hints? When is the end of the Galut then? Yeah, when is the Galut? So it says in the Pasuk, Vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor, Tzav et Aaron ve'benav lemor, Zot Torat ha'olah, Hi ha'olah, al-mugdal mizbeach kol halayla, ve'sham mizbeach kol lavash ha'kohen. And here, now we're going to get into when are the hints, right, of the Galut. Meaning when exactly, more or less, are we going to have the final redemption, Bezrat Hashem, okay? We're going to